Okay, imagine this for a second. A father and his son are just taking a walk. Pretty normal, right? Except this father is the Buddha, and his son is a young boy named Rahula. And the advice he's about to give him, well, it's not just some ancient piece of wisdom. It's basically a step-by-step guide for building a mind that is absolutely unshakable. And we're going to break down exactly how. Now, you got to remember, this conversation happened more than 2,500 years ago. Think about that. Over all that time, through countless translations, what if the real, raw power of those words got lost? What if we've been reading the instruction manual, but we've been missing the entire point?
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going on a little journey. We're moving past the simple dictionary definition, what the words just say on the surface, and we're digging down to the root meaning. We're not just going to look at what the words are, we're going to uncover what they were designed to do. So first up, let's talk about something I call the translation trap. See, when we read these ancient texts, we often get a flattened out version. The original language, Pali, is so full of action and energy, but that dynamic feeling can get completely lost when it's put into English. Let's start with a really important word the Buddha uses, bhavana. Now, if you look this up, you're going to find translations like meditation or cultivation. And I don't know about you, but that sounds kind of passive, doesn't it? Like something you just sit there and do. But what if that translation just misses the mark completely? What if the Buddha wasn't telling his son to just sit quietly, but to actually actively build something new inside his own mind? And this is where it gets really cool. When we look at the word's root, a kind of linguistic detective work called nirukti, we find out that bhavana comes from the root bu, which means to be or to become. So bhavana isn't just meditation. It's the act of bringing into being. It's creation. You are literally building new qualities in your mind. So if the whole point is to bring something into being, what exactly did the Buddha tell his son to create? He told him to build a mind that was as stable, as vast, and as powerful as the great elements of nature itself. He kicks it off with this incredible image. He says, develop a mind like the earth. Think about it. People throw beautiful things on the earth, and they throw disgusting garbage on it. Does the earth care? Does it get offended or upset? Nope. It just accepts everything. Okay, that sounds amazing in theory, right? But come on, how is that actually possible for a human being? How can you become as unshakable as the ground when life is just constantly throwing things at you, good and bad? Well, the Buddhist instruction is super clear. The whole secret is to stop identifying with every single thought and every feeling that just pops into your head. The earth isn't troubled because it doesn't have an ego to offend. And by looking at our own experiences and thinking, this feeling, it's not me, this thought, it's not mine, we perform this radical act of letting go that builds that very same unshakable foundation. And he doesn't just stop with the earth. He tells Rahula to bring all these elemental qualities into being. A mind like water that can wash anything clean but never gets dirty itself. A mind like fire that burns through everything in its path without judging. A mind like the wind that blows past beautiful scents and horrible smells without clinging to either one. And finally, a mind like space, just vast, open, boundless, and completely free. Now, the final piece of this whole mental toolkit really builds on everything we've just talked about. It's probably one of the most famous practices in the world, but surprise, surprise, its real power might be hidden in that tricky translation. The practice is called anapanasati, and I'm almost positive you've heard it translated as mindfulness of breathing. But again, that word mindfulness can sound so passive, Like you're just supposed to vaguely notice that you're breathing. But hey, you know the drill by now, right? The dictionary meaning is never the full story. So let's crack this one open and find out what it's really all about. The key here is the word sati. We translate it as mindfulness, but its root meaning is actually to remember. And that one little shift changes everything. The practice isn't just passive watching, it's the active, continuous art of remembering the breath. It's about intentionally, deliberately bringing your attention back over and over and over again. Now, in the original text, the Buddha lays out 16 steps for this, which can sound a little intimidating, but we can simplify it into a kind of 4-stage journey. First, you just feel the breath moving through your body. Then you start to notice the pleasant, joyful feelings that can actually come from that focus. From there, you learn to just observe your mental states and let them go. And finally, you start to see the truth of things, that everything is always changing and there's incredible freedom in letting go. So let's put this all together. By just changing how we understand a couple of keywords, we totally change the entire practice. It's like we're unlocking the original code that's been sitting there all along.
So on one side, you've got the standard dictionary view. Meditation is passive, you're trying to make your mind a blank slate. But when we look at it from the root view, we see it's an act of powerful, active creation. The mind isn't some blank slate you need to wipe clean. It's a powerful tool you can use to bring into being qualities like stability, clarity, and genuine peace.
And that right there is the biggest takeaway. The advice the Buddha gave his son wasn't some abstract philosophical lecture. No way. It was a practical, hands-on user's manual for building a mind that life just cannot overwhelm. And the result? The ultimate payoff for all this training. The text ends with this absolutely incredible promise. If you practice this way, your awareness will become so stable, so total, that even the experience of your very last breaths will be met with clarity, not with fear or confusion. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we can unlock this much practical, life-changing power just by re-examining a couple of ancient words, what other wisdom is just sitting out there, waiting for us to rediscover it? If only we learn to look at the words a little differently.